Okay, so the first thing to do is to print preview the report in SL to make sure the ODBC connections are built. And if you're still getting the error, especially if a customer is Windows authenticated, you want to make sure the master account has the correct roles. So I'll go into SQL here. So something to keep in mind if your customer is Windows authenticated also is even after everything is up and running and life is happy, if you run synchronization, it will take away all the rights from the master AD user again, and you'll have to come back into SQL and give it to them. So if there's a new company or something that needs to have synchronization run, it will break FRX. No, that's not where I want to go. So if you go to security, logins, oh, see, that doesn't even exist. So, yep. Since there is no FRX anymore, there is no master AD that is created automatically if there's Windows authentication. So, the famous MSTER80 password. Okay, so then I will come here and under user mapping, they have to have the rights to the database. And then they need the MS Dynamics SL and data reader. I almost gave them deny. That wouldn't get us anywhere. Okay, so then you need this for the application and the system database. So I always remember to do this when I set up, but if I have to run synchronization, then I always forget to go back and fix the access. So I have like big asterisks and sticky notes everywhere saying Windows authentication, master, user, or whatever. So, okay, those are the main three things that I look at. So let's see. There we go, and I just got in. Yeah, that's a different error. So do you guys have any questions on that error or the resolution for it?
Yes, what is that error?
Which error?
The one that we got at the end.
Oh, the failed to load calendar?
Yes.
There's something, I think, corrupt in the spec set. Isn't that what that means, Carolyn? She might.
That's correct. There? Yep, that's correct. Yep. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So, yeah, this is just a spec set, the demo spec set that was installed. So something within a row or column or a catalog has an issue with it, and that's what that message is. So if you go in and try and run reports, you'll start getting errors, and whatever report it's on, you'll have to, you know, recreate your row or column or catalog.
And you can literally just copy and paste it. Is that all you need to do usually? Yeah.
Yeah, I usually, copy it out to Excel sheet and look at it. If it all looks fine, then just create a new row or whatever and paste it back in. Usually you can't see what's wrong with it. It just depends. So.
Yeah, it doesn't give you like the little red error like MR does.
Oh, no.
No, not at all. Yeah. Okay, so other than that, I was going to talk about launching SL from the menu or launching FRX from the SL menu, it defaults to looking for FRX at the C drive. So if, and I don't even know, let's see, I can open it here. I don't know if it's even on the menu. I didn't go that far, but there are paths in the Solomon INI file that need to be updated on both the server and then possibly the workstation also. Is it always both, Carolyn, or just usually the server?
Just the server.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so that's just the, let's see. Yeah, we'd have to add it to the menu because this is a 2015, so.
I would see if it's read-only. We've modified it. You know what I mean? See if the file is read-only. By default, it's normally read-only.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So here is the path that it's going to try and go to, and that's what it'll tell you in the error.
No, it's not. Okay.
So then here you just want to correct your path, and go get it. I was just there.
And if this was an actual server install, I mean, the other clients were going to use it, we would use the UNC mapping or the map drive. We wouldn't use it, the C drive, just
Right,
because this is a server. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it would normally be on their C drive. It would be the map desk drive or the UNC path.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that took like 10 minutes. I didn't time how long this was going to take. So, Carolyn, is there any other
yeah, sorry. Go over the spec set, like changing the spec set if you do an upgrade, because you have to make sure you change the spec set or you can overwrite the existing spec set.
So, okay, when I do an upgrade, and what I usually do is I look at the old version or their old server, and I write down the name of the company and the spec set, and then after I install FRX, I manually create it, and I do the mapping correctly to the new server, and then all I do is bring over the FRX, the F32 file from the old server, and that way I know the path is always going to be correct, as opposed to sometimes people bring the whole sys data folder over, and then if you do that, then the mapping in both the spec set is going to still point potentially to the old server, which means anything that you change will be changing the old server. Their live server is what that will be at the time. So which way do you do it, Carolyn? Do you copy over the sys data folder?
Yeah, I copy over the sys data folder.
Okay.
Typically, that's what I use. I mean, it just depends.
Yeah. I have broken people's FRX before doing that because I forgot to change the path. So I kind of changed the way I install FRX now for upgrades, and I just manually create it. But if you bring the sys data folder over, then the two places that you need to make sure you verify the path are in the specification set here. You have to make sure, this will usually be a UNC path, so you need to make sure that you're pointing it to your current server. And then the other place is in the company information. It's not the company information.
That's under admin organization.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Just data.
Hey, Carolyn, before we get too far down the road here, you said it depends. What are maybe what's the extreme examples of when you would or wouldn't do one way or the other?
If the client is saying they're having problems with their current version of FRX, maybe they always have certain error messages all the time or whatever. Sometimes I'll just export the spec set and just import it into a new install, and then I don't have to worry about changing the sys data, because the sys data will be assigned during the installation. So that's one way to do it.
Okay.
That works similar in MR too. You can, you can do MR the same way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. But it's called building blocks, which is the same thing as a spec set.
Yes. So that way they get a really fresh install and they're not dealing with maybe there's corruption in their sys data. Because when people were having a lot of, I think it was what, viruses. That's how I handled it. I didn't try to bring over that sys data folder because it was already corrupt.
And Swaco has actually had a virus. There's a whole bunch of lock and weird extension things saved off in old folders.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring your sys data over.
Yeah, I didn't bring anything over.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, FRX is up and running and it's fine, but I manually created the spec set, and then I exported it and imported it. Yeah, I didn't.
That's how I do it if they have that. Yeah.
And we have a lot of them. There are a ton of customers that have had viruses within the last couple of years. So.
I wonder if that's the best practice, just to do it that way versus bringing over the sysdata folder over. Just be cleaner, a cleaner install.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So yeah,
there's rarely any problems with the spec set itself, I would think.
True. If it's working on their current version, then it should come over just fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
What other FRX questions or issues?
What about, I never know when I'm supposed to run what SQL script. There's all these scripts, and any of them meet.
Well, there's really only two scripts. One of them is when you first install, and then there's a second script that is a fix script, is what it's called, because I don't even know why. Because when you upgrade and you're to the newer versions, it leaves something out there, and you have to run the fix script. That is what is the error? It says that it can't find
error 93.
Yeah.
That's right, error 93. It's called fix 93 or something, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm not sure why, but sometimes you have to run it multiple times. You run it and you run that script and everything seems fine, and a few days later the customer will get that message again. Have we ever figured out why?
Which script are you running?
That happened with that so much time. That's happened tons of times with Sugar Creek. And then we switched to MR.
Yeah, which script are you running? Because I don't have that problem. It just depends on which original FRX script you run.
Well, I
don't know. It's been
Yeah, I mean, the one I run, the original script I run is from the Service Pack 12. That's the index.
That's your problem. That's your problem.
Really?
Yes, that's your problem. Service Pack 12 script has flaws in it. I take the script from Service Pack 9, I believe. It's an older version, because Service Pack 12 tries to take into consideration Windows authentication, and it just messes up stuff. So I take an older script and run it. I can send it out to everyone, the one that I use, but I don't have that error repeatedly.
Okay. I have an email from you from 2014 that has the original scripts or whatever that you told me you used. Probably the same one.
Yeah, but Carolyn, okay, just to go back over that, with Sugar Creek, we kept running a script, the same script, and I'm assuming we got the latest one from you. I know, Mike Coleman, you were running it a few times. Do you recall getting that script from Carolyn? That's why I'm a little confused. I just want to make sure we are running the right script.
This is one I got from Steve a long time ago.
Yeah, I wouldn't run that.
All right. Well, send us the one that we know works, Carolyn, and then we'll just all make sure we use that going forward. And then I'll run that on Flaco too, because I use the SP12 one.
Okay.
Okay, so those are the two scripts that need to be run, Becky. Did that answer your question?
Yes, and they should always be run after an upgrade.
Yes.
Both of them. And you only run the second one if they keep getting that error.
Yes. Well, originally you run them both, and then if that error pops up for some reason later, then you just run the fixed one again.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, I got it. Do you have any questions, Mike Coleman? I think I have all what I needed to know. Did you have anything, Mike Coleman, in addition to this on troubleshooting FRX stuff?
No.
No. Okay. All right.
So one other thing, I'm just looking at my notes, sorry, for that original error is in your company information. You have to go in and enter the new master password. That's one of the steps when you do an upgrade anyway. You always have to go in there, but if you forget that step, that will also cause that connection error. So, okay. That was all I had for FRX, if nobody has any other questions.